Hey guys, it's me again, Ortler. Where I last left off, Bell and them had just taken down Goliath, if I remember correctly. So now we'll cut to the part with them like in the dungeons. Bell still is using his like little wolves, his boar, the gladiator, and all those. And I realized something. Never mind, forget about it. Gladiator and Berserker. Not Berserker, but Gladiator. Who is still smashing down on the lions. 2 Minotaurs rushing through and bashing them apart. Bell tries not to rely on them, but he does have them just in case for things to get bad. But Mikado, Welf, Lily, and Rose are all there, doing their thing. I always say Bell has reached level 2 after he had that whole fight with the forget its name, Silverback. There we go. And now Goliath, he's gonna be like at the same level he is in like the anime. So as they go through the dungeons, Mikado's like, man, having these specters helping us is a real thing. Yeah, and Bell's like, yeah, they're pretty helpful. And now they're like, oh, let's all go up there, you know? Like, yeah, I agree. So as they continue forward with their lives and such, Bell and them, well, like I said, get on with their lives. They go get drinking at the tavern and such. And they all have the whole scenario with the entire thing. But before things get rowdy, Bell is that impulsive kid like he is in the anime. So he does get up. But instead of just getting up, he summons like the 2 wolves first. Like, it's like, what? Before he does something, Welf does the whole throwing the thing. He gets into the brawl, then the dude comes over. He's like, He rushes forward. Bell summons Gladiator, and Gladiator, like, they're at the ready. Like, they're squaring up against this dude. Bet still does the whole kicking table over, and like them all getting ready. Let's say this, like the little, I forget what they're called. The dwarves, not dwarves, but what Lily is. He's one of what Lily is, I'm pretty sure. So but he throws in some creative insults. Oh, look who it is. The guy who steals souls. Blah, blah, blah. Your goddess is trash. Rose is also getting angry at this. So they all just get into a brawl. Like, straight punching. Then Bet does the whole kicking table thing. Later that day, Bell is going to see Miss Aina, like he does before in the anime. And he gets a little invitation thing to go to, not Ares, sorry. Oh, sorry. The Apollo Familia. And joins the Apollo Familia. They get the whole thing done. Like, they get the outfits. But Bell has instead of just a normal tux, he has like some fancy thing that would make you think he's a wizard. Because like I said, he does know magic like Firebolt and such. It's just, no, magic. I think it's Magica Blast. And he has a few of those little goblin creatures that also have the magical blast and such. So, continuing forward. He has all those. I keep on forgetting all the things I have summoned. He has several wolves, a giant snake, a giant boar, gladiator and berserker, a couple minotaurs, and the goblins, giant hawk. Yeah, he has quite a few. But I continue forward. But instead of just like a normal tuxedo, he has like a nice coat. Like similar to like a duster, I guess. Like a nice looking duster. With like engravings and all that. He walks with that. As he walks forward, they all have that whole situation with Freya. And he still has that dance with eyes. But when Apollo does the whole weird thing, and Apollo starts making those accusations against Freya, Belle, like, instinctually, like, summons Gladiator, like, not Gladiator, not the giant snake, like, and it's just the giant snake surrounding them. Freya wants him because she doesn't have a whole soul taker. I believe that's why I call them soul takers. Or something like that. But as I continue forward, the snake will surround him and Hestia. Paul's like, ooh. And the other guy, like the other Apollo Familia people, like come over, do the whole, like they're preparing to attack Belle if things get necessary. He has the snake, and then the other, like the several wolves and the goblin shop, and the goblins are like firing, like not firing, but they have their like weapons like pointing like. They're like, all right, let's calm down. Let's not start shootout. As what, Hermes? Yeah, Hermes is saying like, oh okay, calm down. And Belle does have his 2 daggers under his coat just in case. He's like at the ready to draw them. He's like, your person starts saying rude things. Person's a brat. Apollo. So as they get that whole thing done. And it's the day after that. Rose and all of them are off. Like waiting for him at the dungeon. But not dungeon, she's actually there with Belle. The day when they are starting to leave church. He, like, takes them both and they dodge. He summons the wolves, Hawk, the goblins. They all start their fire, like, as they're covering his retreat. He's taking Hestia and they're just running. He summons the 2 minotaurs to, like, act as the bodyguards. And the boar isn't there yet. They're all just running. He desummons the wolves and the goblins, then summons the giant bird. As they like jump onto the rooftops. As that happens, he's like, after they like, we don't want to hurt you. Then he's like, magic. As he fires, like, instead of just using one hand, he fires with both hands, like, magic blast. As he like dodges away. Seer and all of them still have that whole, oh no, Belle's in trouble. So as they're like retreating, Belle's like, Rose, we gotta keep running. Apollo isn't interested in his sister, he just wants Belle. So as they're running, they're like, as they like make it to the thing. And the whole situation plays out very similar, except Belle has his minotaurs and giants. The giant snake holds a couple people off at a time. I'll say it's become armored and such. Like, they follow his skills. Like, they're just tougher. As he gets tougher, they get tougher. His, like, will is as it's like similar to Green Lantern. He can summon them, and as strong as his will is, they'll be as strong as his will. Which I won't say is nigh unbreakable. Like, his will is stronger than a lot of people's. But that doesn't mean they'll, like, get half of his will. Like, what would be considered strength in his willpower, I guess. So they're tough. So as they, like, take down things, the Minotaurs are... and the special Minotaurs, like, throwing fire blast, like, slamming, causing flames. They're running, like... He has the wolves help out Wealth. Lily still has that whole thing where she gets kidnapped by Soma Familia. And they continue forward with the story. They continue forward with not Belle. Well, Belle still goes to seek after that whole thing with Hestia and the with Hestia under the bridge, and they go and accept Apollo's thing. At this point, Rose is still with them, so they walk up to the mansion, like, we accept the war games. So as they get ready, Belle goes off to Eyes, because he has been doing the training with her. Because he realizes that he can't always rely on them, like I've said. Can't just rely on his specters. So he goes and gets training from Tion. Yeah, it's Tion. And the Aints. And he goes and gets the assistance from them. And he doesn't help with the thing like last time, but his sister's there, like, using arrows, like, and that whole situation plays out very similar. And Belle does get a lot better in this time, very similar to how he was. And now here comes the problem. They're like, so, a siege, that's good. So they're like, shouldn't we, be able... And Hermes does his thing, but Apollo puts up the argument that, well, he already has help. He's a spirit taker. He can just summon all the things. They point out that that's technically not people. Those are just phantoms they summon. So, they still do the thing. It's like, fine, one person may help him. And Welf and Mikado still and Lily do the whole, we drop out, and they join up Belle's Familia. And Mikado, well, not Mikado, but Ryu still gets able to be summoned. Now, before anything begins, Belle has summoned the goblins, and they can charge up, so I say there's about 5 of them. And there's 5 of them, and they're much bigger. I'll say they got a bit bigger. So it's like, as 5, giant, I guess decently sized and strength-wise pretty strong balls of blue magicka energy just slam into the walls, taking out several people. Then they continue. Belle does send in the wolves to help Ryu and such. He sends in after Mikado has done their thing and they're running after Lily has let them in. He has the eagle swooping down, taking out people. He has the 2 minotaurs go assist Mikado. The boar bashes through the fences with wealth and all that. And is there anything else? He saves in Gladiator for last. Gladiator's like, but he blasts up like. He doesn't summon Gladiator though, or Berserker. He waits and then they all go up. So as he does that, he still does the whole thing battle with whatever his name, Ponytail. And he still goes through the whole trouble of beating him down. But before he can get jumped on by the invisible girl, Gladiator is summoned up to as a defense mechanism and sort of just pushes her down, raises the arm up, cocked and low to ready for a blast, and Belle just right hook to the face of this Ponytail dude, and instantly knocked out. Just, it's like, the Hestia Familia wins! So, the goblins did move in after a little bit to, assist Ryu. They're just blasting people, Hawk picks up a few people and go, Minotaurs were causing trouble. The boar, after, getting taken down several people, it all went very well. Now, here's the time of getting a thing. Now, instead of the normal sigil, we'll have the bell with a rose and fire. So, yeah, it's a very weird thing. Since they were the 2, there's Belle and then the rose. I guess they could say rose like thorn or rose flowers, and then the fire over the bell and such. So they all get their things. And the whole thing with them wondering how they're going to keep this. So they ask, hey, Belle, can your things do, like, be made? And she's like, no. They're combat. They're not mate. They're combat focused, not this. Like, the snake could hunt for rodents and such, but that's it. Then they have the whole situation with blue-haired chick and red-haired chick. And they have the whole, they come in and do their thing. He gets them their pillow, and they're like, huh, that's cool. So, as I continue forward, Belle and them do the whole, not Belle and them, they all chill out in the bathtub. And, well, they all talk, Belle talks about how he's grateful for them. And for his sister, he's like, oh, if it wasn't for my duty to my sister, I don't know what would have happened. After we were left in this cruel world, I knew I had to get stronger. So I put my soul-taking skills to the test by taking wolves, anything I could really get my hands on. Like, wow, that's nice to hear, I guess. It's like, yeah. So that's the end of that. Now it comes the day with the whole joining. Like, it still happens the same way that people get chased off by the amount of debt that the Hestia Familia has, because Hestia and Belle's thinks, I've been stabbing with that much money. Why? So, they still have that whole thing. And they continue forward with their whole event. Mikado still goes to the red light district and such. Belle still gets roped into all that. Except as he's running away this time, he just has the other ones like creating a distraction for him. He's like, oh God, help me. Wolves, minotaurs, help. The Amazons just plow through the wolves and the minotaurs. Even the snake doesn't help. Like, the snake just, like, sort of goes to, like, lunge forward and hold them back. They just literally snap its neck, and he's like, oh, God. And he has to run through like he does in the beginning. Still meets Haruhime and all them. She still helps him get out. He actually summons the hawk at one point to, like, try to get him close eyes view. Like, I guess he can somewhat have a sort of telepathic, or just, like, know what they know and what they see, he sees, sort of thing. As they're moving forward, Belle is just having these, he gets out there, he's like, oh, thank God. And he still talks with Haruhime about heroes and all that, because that was still a big part of his life. He even listened to, like, heroes of, like, the magical hero with, like, the wizard hero and such. So he actually can tune with magical heroes and all that. He still, like, got some of the stories told to him by his grandfather. Still got those stories told to him. And Hestia still punishes him and such. And the whole scenario still happens the way it does. They still try to get the money to grab him, not him, to help Haruhime. Hirumi still has that thing. Now comes to the dungeon fight. This will be interesting. And even when he was cleaning, he was actually having his little... He did, like he said before, they can't help at all. So he just has his snake go look for rodents or something. I don't know if that actually makes sense, but who cares? People would probably be freaked out for a second, then they realize, oh, it's a ghost, must be... Oh, and he was given name, give him a hero name. Not hero name, like when they reach level 2, they get that hero name, so do it, I guess. Give him the hero name. I'm sorry. Give him the hero name. because I tried thinking of one. My foot just got a cramp in it. Oh, that does not feel good. I just got a cramp in my foot for a second. That was not feeling good. Bell still gets that hold. He's getting kidnapped. He summons the two Minotaurs to assist him with Aisha and such. And he summons he summons everything and throws it at her. She just cuts through them like they're butter. Except for the two Minotaurs, the giant snake, and the boar. Everything else is cut through like a piece of paper. And give me a second. I'll be right back. I'm back. Now where I last left off is that... Bell was throwing his top units at Aisha, trying to save himself. They're barely holding her back. So he's getting pushed in, and then he gets pushed into the giant mob of Amazons waiting for him. He summons the goblins. He resummons them and just has them firing They're pretty tough. They can go toe to toe with a level 1 or 2, I would say, which is quite a lot. And they're firing upon them. Then the toad ends up swinging her axes and cleaving most of them in two. So he's just backing up. Then several Amazonians just bolas. And he's like, "Good night, kid." Before that, though, Gladiator and the Minotaurs are still defending him. The Gladiator smashes several Amazons away while the two Minotaurs try to take him away, or at least one of them. The fire one causing AoE attacks, bashing him away. This time, Aisha runs forward and slices that one's head off. The toad ends up sort of throwing her axe and killing the other specter. So Gladiator's all that's left. So he falls back and just starts swinging his armor around. Mikado does the whole thing where she comes in, just takes a few out, then gets knocked down. Haruhime sees how the Gladiator's defending him. She's like, "Oh, it's just like the heroes of old." Gladiator's just slamming. Then not Aisha, the Familia commander slams it, then just rushes forward and kicks in its head, and it goes and just disappears. Then Bell's "Oh." It's "Good night." Mikado is kidnapped as well. Whole scenario, I'll say that there's ways to suppress the whole Spectre thing. So what happens is the Toad sort of finds out about this and sort of puts in, I guess, runes, or better to say, have runes that, or something that can somehow block out that ability. So he just doesn't summon the Gladiators and such to keep them suppressed. I'll say that the Amazon's Familia is bound to know something like that at the very least, just in case, because of how they are. And Haruhime still has to come and save him. He's like, "Thank you. I was so scared." And he still does the whole, "Oh, you poor child." And as but Belle continues on. Haruhime, yeah. And Mikado still gets out. They all still do the thing. Belle thinks, "You can't do that to her," when they're like, "She'll be used for the sacrificial stone." And Belle isn't gonna kill Ishtar in this time. He summons the goblins. They're guns at the ready. And he summons in the hawk, and it flies up they're all at the ready, just "Oh, you want to do this?" As they all ready up. It's Mikado's "No, we'll come for her later." She's as they all just go, just disperse as they all walk away. "You will all regret this." I'll say he has taken some of those weird lion thingies, so he has a few of those. So as they all sort of retreat for now comes the night when they're gonna pick a fight with the Ishtar Familia. This will not be a good fight. It's
We gotta do this. I cannot stand by and let her die. I've already done that once before, and it's too many. I will not do it again. So as he says this, and he still has that whole thing, like, where they're like, you shouldn't attack the Familia. And they're like, I understand that, but I just can't. So he and Mikado still do the whole sneak and take Haruhime and such. This time they can not do it a lot more stealthy, but he still has that interaction with the Toad and Ishtar. But instead of just, like, them straight up, like, getting him down, he does summon, like, he summons the Minotaur and it takes out her man, I guess is how she said it. He, like, summons them all in his entire, like, little, I guess, miniature army. Not even army, it's just miniature squad and such. It's just, like, all there ready to go into the brawl. Ishtar doesn't have any powers over his specters, so as they retreat, Deku still gets jumped on. But before that, I'll say that there was a few Amazons and they all just get taken out through powerful magic and such. Like, and he still has that interaction with Ishtar. Mikado still does that whole thing like, Seppuku, or Kamakoze, or Alagakba, whichever you prefer. Whichever, I guess, meme you could say, whatever. Kamikaze, never understood that. Idiots. Really, Alakakbar. However it says for those whole memes with people blowing up and such. I think I should probably not have said that, but oh well. They continue forward, and Bell summons his entire squad after he gets away from them. Freya still does the whole thing. He has his hawk flying high above to, like, get the bird eye's view. And he's like, oh god. As he sees the carnage and all that around him, he's like, well, this is bad. And such. So as they sort of like, and he actually, instead of just going toe to toe with the Toad himself, he summons his most powerful warriors, and the ones that are really weak, he sort of combines. Because if I did not say he could do that, he can. So he has like a giant wolf, a giant goblin, a giant flaming minotaur, and giant lion. So they all just start tearing through the forces. As he gets Haruhime away, he actually summons the hawk down to, like, grab Haruhime. But before that, like, she still gives him the whole buff, and he still goes toe to toe with the Toad. Now as Aisha does the whole, haha, we're gonna fight, he's like, And the whole squad of things, I'll say they actually got a boost from that. Like, since they were sharing in his power, they got that boost of energy that he got from Haruhime. He gets ego and, like, takes her away, like, and he goes toe to toe with Aisha like he does in the anime. Just Freya and Ishtar still has that whole thing happen to him, and all it's fine and dandy. Haruhime still becomes a maid. Aisha still has the same talk with Belle. And the whole scenario still happens with Belle. With, like, her running off. But instead of him not being able to find her, he sends his ego into the air to go find her. Then as she's, like, being kidnapped, Hawk sees this. And after he has his talk with Festus and I forget the other god's name. And they run off. He's like... He actually summons the giant wolf and actually rides on it, like, as they're running. The hawk actually swoops out at one point and, like, goes after Ares's, the god of war's little party. And they still go ahead and take several of them. He summons Glider and all of them, and the whole mudslide still happens. A lot of this stuff is very similar to the anime, because there really isn't a lot I could do, aside from, like, these action points where I give them, like, these like the like specters and such can come in handy. Like for the wolf, the lion, and the boar, they're all like going toe to toe, but then the rock slide, they all get swept away. Mudslide, not rock slide. They all get swept away, like still end up in that village, and he actually like has like just summons the animals and such, so they can do their thing. Like I guess would manual labor be some like pushing stuff around and such? I'm not sure. But anyways, he continues on with those and such. And he doesn't have this moment where he looks at the stars or sun or anything. He actually just has this moment where it's complete, like in the anime. He still has to dance with them, still has to talk with the old man, still makes a comment about the whole dragon thing being like a god. Eyes is very angry. If you don't know the reason, well, I'm pretty sure the reason is already known, but I'm not sure. They have that whole thing done. This is probably the smallest series I will ever do. Maybe it's rushed or not. Well, hope you all enjoy. Have a nice day, nice night, nice life. Goodbye.